Hello and welcome to the very first Eddie Murphy for the good, the bad and the what the fucks. Now the good, the bad and the what the fucks have been around for a while now, and bit by bit I'm getting through different actors and then revisiting. So basically take 10 films, you watch them, you revisit them, you discover them. Are they good, are they bad, what the fuck is happening there? And it normally works with actors who were born in the 80s, technically acting career, survived the 90s and then beyond. Some of them have went whew, some of them went whew, some of them went poof, something like Wesley Snipes has been one. Do you know what I mean? Nicolas Cage has had multiple volumes. Now the one before this is the recently rendering right now is Christian Slater Volume 4, and today I decided, right, Eddie Murphy, because I actually love Eddie Murphy to bits. He's one of the funniest people to ever come along, especially in the 80s with Raw and Delirious, which will appear on this list. Delirious is just there on VHS. He came along, witty comedy, hit it big, stand-up, transitioned amazingly into films, became some iconic characters, became a big star, big voice. It's been a bit of a while for a while, like Mr. Church. Anyone heard of that? No? But obviously this year we'll see the return of Akeem with Coming to America 2. So, the first one is Trading Places. So, Valentine and Lewis there. As I say, there's two alternative versions where they're in the suits. Obviously, it's pretty much a vice versa film. These guys have just recently been added. So Trading Places, it felt to me personally, was right to rediscover this film. I'll just put it down there. Never got around to picking it up on Blu-ray, but there we go. So this is a great story of, shows you what wealth is like and what it's like being on both ends of the spectrum, especially in the 80s. Some people have been struggling, some people absolutely look like, at the end of the day, life's life. Everyone should just get on with life and the most positive way. No one knows what's going on in other people's head and their surroundings. Always be kind and courteous. It doesn't matter if you're rich. If you're going through the door and it's the right way, wait, say thank you. That kind of treatment, that's the way life should be. So this film paints the picture quite well straight away, and basically Randolph and Mortimer, I always want to say it that way around, it's probably wrong, are basically two tycoons when it comes to the monopoly of the trade market, and Lewis is the little dog's body, living a life, and they make a bet over £1, $1, whatever. And that bet is to basically what would happen if you took Lewis and made him homeless and discriminated him, and then give Valentine the opportunity. Would he prevail and would he turn to crime? Like a sociological experiment, and that's the joke to them, because they're bored, the rich, the filthy rich kind of thing. But the twists, the turns. So we see the comedy aspect of Eddie Murphy now becoming rich, Dan Aykroyd on the downfall. Both of these guys are absolutely tremendous. Jamie Lee Curtis steps up into comedy after being a Scream queen for a long time, and obviously known in quotation from Scream as the first time she really gets boobs out in a mirror shot and everyone's like, whoa, hey. Couple of supporting actors like James Belushi is in there as the gorilla, which is hilarious. I'll get these two guys down when I'm remembering that. But yeah, it's quite funny, but then it gets to the point where, right, how far does it go before these two become the ultimate tag team to take down the tycoons? And there's a really funny bit with, James Belushi is a gorilla, and a real gorilla, and just some loving going down, back to Africa kind of things going down there. That's really funny to say James Belushi in. Just recently watched K9, and that's written by Steven Seagal. I was like, what the fuck? So I'll get around to doing a Steven Seagal, like, because he's done some good films, but he's like, what the fuck? That would be that. Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is really good in this. Paints a great picture. I think both of them are really good. I'm sure this is around like 84, 85, isn't it? Let's say that. Obviously, just a really well made comedy. I love Coming to America when Eddie Murphy hands off the money to Mortimer and stuff. When they're sleeping out in the streets, again, amazing crossover, little hidden gem, like in the 80s. So yeah, I liked it. But when you think about the stock market, fucking no idea. I mean, a lot of people do it over apps now, and it's always been big business. You always see the Wall Street kind of stuff. But like watching the end there, when it's like watching Bloodsport when the fucking, right, these guys are fighting that, and you got the little guy with a bit of paper, and like people buy, sell, 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 sell. It's just like, how does that fucking work? It's fucking chaos. It's like going into Wtfs on New Year's Eve and like, what did you say? Do you want a drink? What did you need? You just can't hear shit, and like that's what's going on in this movie. Like, oh, And it's great when Eddie Murphy drops the F-bomb, because as Eddie Murphy's career got along, stops dropping the F-bombs. Well, obviously he's in Mulan, he's in Shrek, he's Donkey, and them films will come down the line. So you're going to see some random ones at first. As I say, I'm not going to hit you with Beverly Hills Cop. Well, I'll try and have to probably hit you a Beverly Hills Cop all the way through. 1, 2 and then 3. I've got the pop vinyl down there, sitting down there. I've got the vinyl, I love that. But yeah, just trying to take in the whole trading thing and just stock marketing and just fucking just melt your brain going into that. Just fucking shouting at each other. But great comedy. Starts off with a classical score. It's not like Beverly Hills Cop where it has a very iconic soundtrack. This is very slow building. I think Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy worked really well together. I don't know if they ever worked together again off the top of my head. But this would also show that Eddie Murphy, stuff like 24 Hours and Another 24 Hours, Eddie Murphy would be great as a buddy comedy as long as a solo artist as well. You can see stuff later on in his career, like with Steve Martin, Owen Wilson, Robert De Niro. You know, Eddie Murphy's worked with loads of different people, and that's what's going to be interesting about this Good, the Bad and the What the Fuck. We're starting it off with Trading Places. It's a mint film. It's definitely a Christmas film. And I think, once again, Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy were fucking golden in this. I love the crossover to Coming to America as well, which is probably one of my favourite Eddie Murphy movies. But no, absolute classic. And this is the first entry into the Good, the Bad and the What the Fucks for Eddie Murphy. Okay, so welcome back to the Good, the Bad and the What the Fucks. This is the second movie in a day for the one and only Eddie Murphy. Now this is The Adventures of Pluto Nash, the Man on the Moon. It sort of died by opening it. Unfortunately, it's one of them old-fashioned snap boxes. You don't see this around. This is some of the people are like, what? Have you said that? It's also been cash converted to the sticker. Horrible stickers, cash converters. Fuck you. So yeah, there we go. Again, people are like, what the fuck? It snaps back. So basically, Eddie Murphy, Randy Quaid, Joe Palatino, Rose Mario Dawson, Alec Baldwin's in this, James Marr, Louis Gutzman, Pam Gaye, John Cleese, loads of people in this movie. Now, this is not what I totally remembered. It's a PG. I thought this was more of a kids one. It's definitely not. There's some very edgy stuff in there, like John Cleese calling him a bastard. I'll jot that down there. Pretty weird one. Pluto Nash, basically, I always remember this being like he's a commander of a spaceship. He's totally not. So he's just out of prison. Burt Young from Rocky's in this. James Marr, who's mainly famous for who was in Go, and he's also in Mafia. Pluto Nash drops in to see him. His career's not going well, and Pluto Nash ends up taking over his nightclub. Fast forwards 10 years, Pluto Nash is well established. He has Randy Quaid, who's quite funny in this as a robot. You know, doing the whole robot thing. Miss Dawson comes along, who's really pretty and beautiful, and she becomes like his love interest in that. Meanwhile, Joe Palatino reenacts his scene from the Goonies, chasing Pluto Nash around after they try to blow the club up after trying to buy it. Ends up getting on the moon, running around the moon base, away from fucking the Planet X and all that kinds of weird stuff. CGI has not aged well, and the June buggies and stuff like that. John Cleese is quite funny as a talking robot. Just borrow a little bit from like Total Recall a bit in a way. CGI hasn't really aged well. This is one of the films that's totally forgot the days of matte paintings. There is some funny bits in this, laugh out loud, but again, it's not like, again, it's probably aimed at kids, but it's more like an adult theme. There's not much kiddie about it. Eddie Murphy at this point had done stuff like Haunted Mansions, 1,000 Words. Haunted Mansion I've never seen 1,000 Words. Is it 1,000 Words? Daddy Daycare and stuff like that. These are films I'm going to have to buy to bring into this collection. But to go from like Trading Places to this, it's like, what the fuck? You know, and you watch Trading Places and you say like, oh, maybe it's in 15, or about 20 years from that point, Eddie Murphy's going to be flying around in space in a company, and people are like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. And yeah, true. There'll not be a pop vinyl Pluto Nash anytime soon. And as I say, there's a lot of Eddie Murphy movies around this era. Showtime, that'll definitely be, not the next one, because the next one's going to be Ballfinger, because I love Ballfinger. But again, Ballfinger, around this era where Eddie Murphy's just sort of in movies. Definitely a film I need to check out and track down, which I love, Metro. Haven't seen that since good old VHS. But again, with Eddie Murphy, I'm not buying any, because like stuff like Meet Dave, Coming to America, you know, they're all here. Golden Child, I think it's around somewhere. It's been a while since I've seen Golden Child. Dreamgirls, they're all, like, it's definitely 10 here. So Eddie Murphy's a great one to come into the series. But when you look at this good, bad, and what the fucks, it's a what the fuck movie, because The Adventures of Pluto and Ash, The Man on the Moon, the title is what the fuck for a start. You know what I mean? So yeah. So it as I say, it looks like it's aimed for a family, but then its execution is not family oriented. Then it should have been a 12 going along the 15 era. But again, this is like, you totally forget this is Eddie Murphy from Trading Places. Even Eddie Murphy is, well, saying that, at the very end, there's 2 Eddie Murphys, so if Abraham finds that out, that's why I've purposely went like this, so there's no way Abraham...
Hey,
Get out of the bottom corner.
Hey, no, my corner.
Out.
Mine.
Go. Completely ruining it.
I'm not ruining anything.
Go away.
No.
It's gone. Sod's law in it, mention it. But again, it's the whole double Eddie Murphy, so yeah, what the fuck, there's 2 Eddie Murphys, a bit like Nicolas Cage, and definitely a Jean-Claude Van Damme moment for 2 Eddie Murphys. Right, see you next time for Ballfinger, when there's 2 Eddie Murphys in that as well. Oh, for fuck's sake.
No, it's perfectly fine to make a video about me.
I forgot how fucking funny Ballfinger is. Yeah. Listen, hang on, as you are. God, the fuck out of me. Fucking Eddie Murphy just fucking blowing off. Hang on. I don't want to. I'll swallow it because I don't want to. Van Damme, Jackie Chan.
456 times. That's perfectly divisible by 3.
The KKK appears 462 times.
KKK appears in this script 486 times.
That's not what I'm laughing at. The 12 as well. Like
This is a great script. Look, it's not Shakespeare, but what you just said?
it's class though, because Eddie Murphy's. I mean, he's totally looking different. Like, 'cause he's looking slim on that.
I know he's doing it. Speak on it. Yeah. What's he doing?
Shakespeare, Freddie, Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare, spear chucker. Shakespeare, I'm a spear chucker now. Oh, I'm a spear chucker. You come out from the spear chucker. It's my imagination, huh? All my imagination. Oh, so I suppose they didn't put a computer chip in LaToya Jackson's brain. She just act like that, huh? And I suppose Teddy Kennedy ain't 1/16 black, huh?
Teddy Kennedy.
He's not like the other Kennedys. Look at it, he's different.
Listen, I got some calls.
Yeah, go to the office and make some calls. Go call Arnold and Sly, Van Damme and Jackie Chan. Tell them the spear chucker said hello.
Hi. Now, as much as it would be fun to do the whole split down the screen, let's do a Stevens. It's just too late. It's too late, and there's stuff to do. Next movie is going to be Showtime. Rocking and rolling, doing the whole room tour video. It's one of the hottest nights of the year. Whew. Only got 2 computers running. It's a bit weird, wacky, but wonderful. Right, Eddie Murphy, number 3, Ballfinger. One of Eddie Murphy's best movies he's ever made. Teaming up with Steve Martin, who's obviously went well over the years. Sergeant Bilko, but was a pioneer in the 90s and 80s and stuff like that. This is brilliant. Jamie Kennedy in there. Fucking computer. Heather Graham in there. Robbie Downey Jr. in a small role. The guy with the car, the guy with the phone. And there's 2 Eddie Murphys. Really funny Eddie Murphys. Now, Junker. He can't review films for shit. Right, so what I was trying to say was, this is one of Eddie Murphy's best films, because Eddie Murphy plays a sort of like high angle of himself, like fuck you, and like, as you see at the start of this, absolutely pissing myself laughing. The whole Jackie Chan, Jean-Claude Van Damme, the whole spear chucking thing was absolutely hilarious. And for a 12, it's a bit edgy, and ow, the fuck happened to my arm? Anyway, the idea is Steve Martin is a wannabe director. he's had his almost 15 minutes of fame taken away from him every time. He even tries to boycott the Robert Downey Jr. character with his cordless phone he's just cut out of someone's phone, car, and the restaurant scene. And he's got a few actors, some followers, and he wants to make a big movie, and one of his assistants creates a film called Chubby Rain. And it's a weird, whacked out alien story. So what they do is he decides to stalk Kip Ramsey, played by Eddie Murphy, around him scenes and get actors to interfere in him. Of course, Kip Ramsey's actually going to therapy a lot and is a bit on edge. He's got some issues, which again pay off at the end of the movie. And this hard bastard, fuck off, I'm famous, Eddie Murphy's just like, fuck you out my way. And they're running around and he starts getting paranoid, freaked out. Eddie Murphy is fucking brilliant in this movie. Now the movie starts going and everyone's not in on it. Steve Martin and Jamie Kennedy are in on the joke. They know what's happening. It's guerrilla filming to its finest. The actors don't. The actors are trying to interact with him. And as I say, Robert Downey Jr. pops up. There's a few more famous people you recognise from other movies. All of a sudden, it pushes Kip Ramsey too far and he goes into hiding. Paranoid of aliens. So what do? They start looking for a stunt double, a stand-in, someone who could like really progress the story while Kip's in fucking therapy. And it just so happens they get a look-alike, so looking alike that Eddie Murphy doubles as Kip Ramsey's brother. When they reveal that he actually is his brother, it's hilarious because he's completely bipolar opposite to Kurt. Hey, how you doing? He's really funny, and again Eddie Murphy fucking steals this. So, making them run across roads, making them interact, making them have a gram, just doing the laps around the cast, sleeping with everyone. This is really, really funny film. The way it's done, and then the reveal of the movie at the end, and how they actually get the movie filmed, made, it's fucking fantastic. I've absolutely just loved it. And I was going to wait till tomorrow, but I'm on a mission tonight, and I'm going to go straight into Showtime. Probably not get all the way through Showtime. I'm having a few beers while I'm constantly editing. It's really cold tonight. But as to say, letting Abraham review them, he just goes off on random tangents and starts fucking carrying ducks around and shit gets a bit crazy. But again, it's what the fuck is wrong with my body? There's my neck. But if you've never heard of Ballfinger, check it out, man. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. Like literally, what an eventful, very clever script. And like Steve Martin, literally like a film. If everyone's a fan of Steve Martin, Mixed Nuts. Amazing movie, but Steve Martin deadpanned it. But Eddie Murphy, this would be in Eddie Murphy's top 5, I would say, because playing that double role kind of thing, and just he steals the fucking film. I mean, Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy. To me, it should be Ed Murphy, Steve Martin. But yeah, see you in the next video.
I'm not impressed. I like reviewing movies too. Me and my duck. I wanted to review that movie. Bye.
Okay, wow. For some reason, after filming the last bit for Ballfinger, the light went on. So I turned the camera back on, the light's on. Well, okay, I don't normally use the light. Might work better for this, but I don't know. This one's called Showtime. I've actually sat through all this. I'm still on editing the video. It's got 1 o'clock in the morning. Okay, we're rocking and rolling here. It's one of them snap boxes, just like Pluto Nash. This was part of controversy. Stuff like 3,000 Miles of Graceland, Collateral Damage, when Warner Brothers fell out with distributions, especially in the UK. And this is one of the films that didn't see the light of day for about a year, till all of a sudden they were available. This is buddying up Eddie Murphy, so we've had Eddie Murphy with Steve Martin, we've had Eddie Murphy flying solo with Pluto Nash, and we've had Eddie Murphy with Dan Aykroyd and Robert De Niro, one of the most talented actors ever to grace the screen. A guy who's openly admitted that he takes paychecks this day and age to support his family for the future. God, he's been in loads of films. Does the whole Robert De Niro, Eddie Murphy, twisted around, produced by Will Smith. Maybe it was an idea of maybe it's for Martin Lawrence or Will Smith. Excuse me. Rene Russo's in this as well. Kadeem Hardison's in this as well, who stars alongside Eddie Murphy in Vampire Brooklyn as well. So I haven't really enjoyed this. It's got some big movie kind of things going down for it. Like Batmobile at the start of it was like, fucking hell, get in. Eddie Murphy as a cop, Axel Foley, and obviously with Metro he tried to go a bit more edgier and stuff like that. I don't know, I think it's a bit of a misfire. The idea is Robert De Niro's a hard ass fucking cop called Mitch, and Eddie Murphy's coming along. He wants to be an actor. He's obviously a beat cop. He wants to be on this scene. He knows what the camera's like. And Rene Russo's running around trying to make a new TV show, and it's hyped up by the fact that Robert De Niro shoots out a fucking camera guy with a camera. I'm like, fucking hell, what's he doing there? And the police department's about to get sued, and we're about to get sued. I'm sure the guy who plays the chief detective is Barney from Silence of the Lambs. I'm sure it is. But before not getting sued, Mitch has to agree to be in a TV show along with an audition actors. It's so hot. Look how hot it is tonight. Whew. And Eddie Murphy really gets his supporting role, and they come in and they try to spouse it up, change apartments, give him a dog, give him the flash cars. And there is some funny bits. Eddie Murphy sliding across his new car, and he's like, cops don't do that. And he's like, why not? For leaves a dent in the car, it's just a big scratch mark. Quite funny. An F-bomb for a 12. The whole idea how they don't like each other, but then, you know, it's sort of like a nice little tongue-in-cheek reference to Lethal Weapon. Again, Rene Russo's in it. It's a Warner Brothers movie. Maybe could have been originally Will Smith and Mel Gibson. Maybe could have been the original idea. I'm sure there's a couple of like guys in there you'll recognise, and it sort of just plods along really. Nice little big stunt with a forklift in a car, but it just really fell flat. So it's going to go in the bad category, like, because I was like, right, okay, I am paying attention. Just something rolled down. But again, that era of budding them up, again, this is the I Spy era. Eddie Murphy budding up with people as the buddy cops, but it just felt a bit flat for me, this one. It would have done a lot better being a bit more edgier. Like, literally, this should have been like a 15 and dropped the F-bomb. Just let Eddie Murphy loose. Because going off Delirious and Raw, and like his impressions of Stevie Wonder and Mr. T and all that, just really sort of getting phased back, you know, to this point where Robert De Niro, taxi driver, mean streets, fucking edgy fucking bastard. You expect some, if it was a 15 and it had more, fuck yes. I mean, the end scene with it's going out the window and the swimming pool coming down and stuff, it's like, alright, but there's no real threat there. So yeah, it's going to go in the bad pile, unfortunately. See, I've had that for a while. It's one of them snappy boxes. But yeah, wow, that's the third Eddie movie today. Bowfinger, Pluto and Ash, and that back to back tonight. Trading places last night, but yeah, 4 down, 6 to go really. But yeah, that was showtime. Hello, hello, hello. Right, next I'm reading Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy. It's Beverly Hills Cop. Love it. Absolutely love Beverly Hills Cop. Little Axel Foley down there. Picked up the soundtrack on vinyl, and it was Banana Yellow, and when I put it on I realised it was a score. One of the best films for a score and a soundtrack. The score is iconic, but then the music as well. The heat is on, and New Attitude. It just class. It's like dun 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 woohoo. It's got some amazing music cues in the film at the start. I'm originally going to star Sylvester Stallone, who went off after his rewrites. He went off to do Cobra, hence why Beverly Hills Cop 2. Eddie Murphy's laughing at Cobra poster in his bedroom because Beverly Hills Cop was a massive hit. Eddie Murphy, coming off the end of his stand-ups, even laughs at his own dress-up as he's walking down the streets in Beverly Hills and sees two people wearing vice versa costumes of Eddie Murphy's Raw and Delirious costumes, which is quite funny. Iconic cover. Not as iconic, I think, as the second one where he's leaning against the lamppost with the jacket on. I think it's a little bit more iconic. Has been released twice now as a trilogy box set on Blu-ray. We've just had Eddie Murphy up close. And we've got it there. Can you see that in the light? Sorry. Eddie Murphy just up close, and then a recent one, it's taken the iconic number 2 but blacked out the background. Class films. I was going to try and do one in each entry, but not being funny. Really enjoyed the first one there. and as I say, I was loving the soundtrack, and then I went into straight number 2. So going back to it, as I say, it starts off really good, big stunts, 80s as well, you know, everything seems to break, you know, as the cigarette going down there. A lot of F-bombs in this, some really clever F-bombs. As I say, just Eddie Murphy's just absolutely on fire, and this is a lot of improv. There's a lot of people, there's 2 people from the Gremlins. You've got Judge Reinhold, who's in this, is quite good, and the henchman, he's also the drunk police officer in Gremlins. The bad guy, also the bad guy in Fair Game, I think he's in one of Mark McQueen's films as well. It's always iconic because he's got that little lump in the middle of his head. But yeah, it's pretty brutal. So basically, after his bust goes wrong, he gets shouted at, but his best mate from the past turns up, who's been in prison, and gets brutally executed on the back of the head. That's fucking grim. I'm sure the guy who's the henchman as well is the guy from Total Recall, if anyone wants to correct me on that. Anyway, he gets suspended. Oh, he doesn't get suspended. He takes a vacation and ends up in Beverly Hills, and Beverly Hills is all nice and clean compared to the mean streets of Detroit. And basically, he sort of gets on the hands, gets chucked out the window, which is insane, and just some of the comments, the racial slurs. Damon Wayans appears in this with the bananas. It's just like fucking hell, Damon, what's going on with your hair? You know what I mean? It's just like proper early breakout roles again. You know what I mean? This was a massive film for the time, you know. Again, going back to the whole, you know, like the comedy, the fire of it, you know, Eddie Murphy, shit hot on fire. Ronnie Cox, another person from Total Recall as well as RoboCop, great as like, because you normally the bad guy in this, and he starts off as the bad guy, but you find he's got a heart of gold, and he's about to get shot at the start of the second one. Again, Taggart as well. They are really funny comedy value. As I say, there's just a few like nice little cliches, nice little building. But it's basically just smuggling stuff like that. Serge as well, who doesn't reappear till the third one, or Mr. Toombs, he's called from Langoliers, also in True Romance. He's quite funny again. It's just so, I think one of the best things about the movie, one's the comedy, and 2, the soundtrack and the score. It's normally like either someone's got a really good score, and you never get both. That's really well cued, so well movie cued. And as I say, you couldn't look at that and go Sylvester Stallone, where you could Cobra, you know. But yeah, absolutely love it, absolutely love it. As I say, I was gonna listen to the comedy, but I've decided to go straight into number 2. So, not the spoiler, the second one, and then it will be the third one. But yeah, love it. No idea where that's just gone. Poor Eddie Murphy. He was a really good guy. Yeah, see you in the next one. Oh no, he's got no top on. Oh, so Beverly Hills Cop 2. Back to the first one. I'm going to try and watch the third one in bed. I'm shattered. The whole thing about Sylvester Stallone originally being Axel Foley, there's obviously a tongue-in-cheek in this. And this one's directed by Tony Scott, who went on to do a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, he's been gone a few years now. But this just follows the same beat as the original. The fact that Eddie Murphy laughs at the Cobra poster, there's a Rambo 2 poster, there's a reference to Rambo, and at the time Sylvester Stallone's wife is one of the henchwomen. Familiar face, the bad guy. As I say, the bad guys of this are always, it's not Manly Man Showdown and stuff like that, it's always about like, Dean Stockwell's in this as well, but it's never like fighting off to the end. These are just really grounded, like criminals really. Some funny bits in it. It's great to see like people come back, some payoff jokes. I don't think the soundtrack's as jumping as the first. The score's still there. There's a lot of music cues that are used from the original, because lately I've been listening to the soundtrack loads, and there's a lot of music cues like used again, but I don't think the songs are like, they're just not as catchy. Iconic cover. Some good little action bits from there, but it just follows the same. There are some quite funny bits again, the whole heist thing, but it's not as good as the original, but it's there. It's a shame that we never got the TV series, but I'll try and talk about that the third, because I think the third one's definitely better than this one. I know people are going to go, what the fuck? Excuse me. But I just remember the hype for the third one coming out in the mid-90s, and I was just like, I can't wait for this, because there was a lot of years, about 5 years between the two. But I can't wait for the third one now. I'm going to bed. But yeah, and it's like the little Sylvester Stallone stuff. I love how they've turned in the Dirty Harry kind of look, spoofs going on like that. So Yeah, sorry I haven't got a top one. I know it offends some people out there. But there is an outtake being filmed already. That's why the light's on. I had to search for stuff, but you have to wait for the outtake for that. But yeah, as I say, it's good, but it's not as good as the first. Eddie Murphy's still shit hot in it though. But again, keeps following something, the nitratium thing, like the sweat in the buckets and all that, to get in there. It is quite funny and all that, but again, similar beats. There's boobs in this one though. I'm quite sure it's that Patricia Arquette. But yeah, see you in the next one. Hello there. Right, okay, so Beverly Hills Cop 3. Last night I watched Beverly Hills Cop, Beverly Hills Cop 2, then Beverly Hills Cop 3, then half of the audio commentary for Beverly Hills Cop 1. Wow, it's just like, what a day. Now you can see there's a big difference. Eddie Murphy has proper buffed up, filled out a bit. You know, definitely been to the gym. Not as crazy looking as he is in Tower Heist. But yeah, Eddie Murphy, feeling a bit buff. This film, I think it's better than the second one. But it doesn't really capture the... It seems to be getting a bit watered down, especially when it comes to the comedy. It's great to see some of the cast back. I didn't realise the guy who plays Todd as a real life copper. He was just cast because he's a hard ass copper and the mayor by the time this was filmed. But he gets killed off, setting off a chain reactions. At the very start of this movie, you got Chico, who I always talk about, called Chico, and Ali Long. Two people you used to see in loads of films in the 80s in the same movie. Chico's the guy who ends up painting his face. But starting off with Diana Ross, and they're all singing and dancing. Weird little car chase. This one's big on action, mind, because not only does the story set off and ends up in Wonderland, which I think is a hybrid of Disney and Universal Studios. I think Alien Attack is, what do you call it? Earthquake. George Lucas makes a cameo on this. But when it gets on the spider and he's jumping across, and I mean, that's some crazy ass stunts and stuff like that, and I think that's not really Axel Foley. You know, I kind of think that the film Metro, which I'm hoping to get a hold of, because I remember loving Metro, he cornrowed his hair, that was going for the hard 18 rated thing. Because I think this one does go a bit of action. But I do like the idea of it being set in a theme park, and the idea of, literally, I mean, does it borrow a bit from Die Hard, do you think? You know, what happens if you put Axel Foley in a theme park? Okay, that's probably a little Cop 3. It introduces love interest as well, which is new for the film as well. But it's good. I mean, again, Alistair Walt. It's a shame that Taggart and Roddy Cox don't return. But you do get Judge Reinhold back, going a bit crazy, who controls the lines and stuff. Quite funny. It's a shame that the series never got picked up after this, but I enjoyed it. I think it's better than the second one. It's got some good stunts again. Just a feel good to go to a theme park and it all kicking off and going down. But yeah, it was the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy, back to back. As I say, originally I was only going to put one in, one there, one that, one this, and yeah, so it's quite a few. That's 6 so far, isn't it? So I'm not sure what the next one is. I'm going to go into it right now, but yeah, love it. Woohoo! I even had the soundtrack on the day in the car. Love it. Dun dun dun! Welcome back to Eddie Murphy's. The Good, the Bad, and the What the Fucks. I think this is entry 6 or 7. Now, Life. Okay, so I have this in VHS. It's around somewhere in VHS. Picked it back up recently on DVD. I think I've got it on DVD. I remember when this came out, and Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence had worked together on Boomerang. Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy are from the Saturday Night, and Martin Lawrence maybe is more the Def Jam of stand-up comedians. Both got a background in stand-up comedy. I'm just that new fucking camera is far too heavy for that tripod. Keep on moving down. And Eddie Murphy, this is one of Eddie Murphy's last R-rated films before he really had 2000s. It was more like the family friendly. It's a bit interesting as well because Coming to America seems to have disappeared off his IMDb, even though he's been seen about taking photos and stuff. And Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy recently did that whole viral video of Will Smith on the back lot with Wesley Snipes. So again, there's a lot of friendship and family there. This film though would be a universal thing. Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, especially Martin Lawrence, coming off the back end of Blue Street, Nothing to Lose, Bad Boys. It's not a laugh out loud comedy. I mean, don't get us wrong, the outtakes are hilarious, but like, this is marketed as being a fucking absolute laugh out loud comedy, and it's not really. Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence have great chemistry, but the film's more of a drama with a bit of heart. It's set against the backwater when these two meet through coincidences and have to do like a moonshine run to make some cash. Eddie Murphy loses his watch in a game of cards, which he finds out he's been cheated. They then walk around the back arguing, bumping into somebody who he was playing against cards who's been murdered, and they get framed for murder. And looking back at the day, because they're black at the time, they've just chucked the book at them. You know what I mean? It's something that you see a lot in movies, especially stuff like The Butler and all that, where it's just like, right, you know what I mean? There's no justice system back then, so they end up being in prison for life. And the area where the guard says, look, and it bugged us for ages who the guard was, and it's the guy who fucking tells Neo to follow the rabbit. It's the same guy, it's got to be, because he's in Face Off as well. He take the face off. And these guys, along with Bernie Mac, and it's the first film Antonio Anderson's in as well, and they spent 40 years in prison. And it's sort of told by a person who, like, it's either Eddie Murphy or Martin Lawrence, or it's in the joke that at one scene it's Eddie Murphy and one joke it's Martin Lawrence. Because again, when you look at this film now and you go, right, Eddie Murphy, Nutty Professor, that's what it's coming to America, but then Martin Lawrence, Big Mama's House and stuff like that, these two have made a lot of money impersonating, you know, comedy acts, like getting into big prosthetics. And when you see Rick Baker's name at the start of the film, you right, okay. So as the years go by, they get older and older, and the makeup effects is great. And this film gets funnier as they get older and crankier, because it's almost like they become grumpier old men and they try to break out and stuff like that. Sort of, you know what I mean? It's almost as serious as Shawshank Redemption sometimes. There isn't like one big laugh out loud comedy. It's more like, you know, but then again, the F-bomb, the N-words, you know what I mean? It's like a full-on, like, when the sarcasm and the bad words come out, it's there. And I'll be honest with you, I started watching that last night, paused it, and ended up watching Jurassic Park and The Goodfellas with Brit, you know, because Brit's not over every night. It was just making sure I spend enough time with Brittany. And I was watching, I could put it on, and I was like, right, I'll just put that on when I'm finishing up the day, and I found myself watching the film again. I'm waiting on stuff rendering, but again, it's a well-made film. It's got a lot of heart there. Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence fucking nail it. I was going to say last night that this is a fucking bad movie. It's borderline what the fuck, because it looks like it's going to be a laugh out loud comedy, but it's not. It's more towards the drama side of it. So it's got a lot of history in it. It shows you it paints a good picture of what life was like there, and you know, there's a few famous people in as you know, got the starring roles break out. I mean, the cast is massive, and it's a good film. It's just not a comedy. So again, at the end, when they're old, it's more funny, and the outtakes are absolutely hilarious. Even the bit where the mobile phone rings and Eddie Murphy's like, hello, I'm the first person to have a mobile phone. So yeah, but as I say, even Chuck and Bernie Mac on the front there as well. And the film Life, you know. So yeah, as I say, it's got a lot of things, but it's around that era, coming off the back end of Holy Man and stuff like that. That's before Eddie really went down to like getting obviously deals with Disney, moving on over stuff. So that was Life anyway. And that was Life. Right, see you in the next one. Okay, next up in the Eddie Murphy, The Good, The Bad and What the Fuck. So entry number 9. Don't know why I've just doesn't like, you can't see my hand on camera. Dreamgirls. It was going to be Tower Heist, because I quite like Tower Heist, and I was going to do it as a podcast comedy, and I bought it on Blu-ray for a couple of pounds, and I tried to open it and I was like, nah, fucking not having it. So Dreamgirls, I've never seen it before, heard a lot of good things about it. Eddie Murphy in this is absolutely fantastic. Beyonce Knowles, Jamie Foxx, and introducing Jennifer Hudson, who won the Academy Award. I know it's kind of mental to think like if someone wins the Academy Award for actress when you've not seen her in anything else, but they're all phenomenal. Beyonce Knowles is class, Jamie Foxx is class, Danny Glover's class. Eddie Murphy, though, I didn't realise this was like loose, based on a true story until the Jackson 5 turned up, and I was like, alright, cool. Eddie Murphy's performance is great, but then it's kind of mental because it looks like it's going to be quite grounded, but then starts breaking into a musical. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? So yeah, as I say, there's quite some funny bits in it. There's been quite a few films recently I've seen where the LA riots and stuff like that have come into stuff like that, and it's mental. As I say, like the origins of music and stuff, especially soul and the Rising Star, and some of the vocals on this were absolutely class. But you know, as Eddie Murphy is brilliant as Eddie Murphy in this, the fucking transition between musical and telling the whole story, and my phone going off in the background, it's just fucking mental. So it kind of lives in the what the fuck, because like, yeah, Eddie Murphy in the musical. I mean, don't get us wrong, Shrek Burke's in the musical. Shrek the Third was advertised at the start of it. The Shreks I need to actually purchase. I've got it still on VHS and stuff. But Eddie Murphy as Donkey is just, again, it's just another reason why you love Eddie Murphy. Like, a lot of people don't remember the PJs. But that, yeah. But Eddie Murphy, fantastic in that. But as I say, it's quite mental. But, God, someone's totally after me. But yeah, really enjoyed it. So it's only 2 hours long, that one, but yeah, Danny Glover didn't turn off into a flying horse. It's pretty much one of Paramount's as well. Flat out grey disc on that one, but yeah. In at number 9, it is Dreamgirls.
Hello and welcome to the final part of Eddie Murphy's For the Good, the Bad and the What the Fox Volume 1. Now I watched this last night, but by the time this film finished, especially what I was editing, I was in no fit state to go on camera and not only talk about Tower Heist, but then do the whole recap of the 10 films. So Tower Heist, as I said, I don't know, did I say it yesterday or not? Yes I did, because Tower Heist, I was going to watch this as the 9th film, then I couldn't open it because I picked it up on Blu-ray for £2 not long after revisiting it on DVD. So I thought it was quite cool to get a hold of, and the idea was it was going to be on a podcast. Now Ben Stiller, Eddie Murphy, this could have been the Expendables of comedy. Matthew Broderick's name needs to be on there, Michael Pinda's on there as well, Casey Affleck, Tira Leone, not sure what her name is. They could have done, and maybe someone a bit more famous than the guy from MASH. I know he's done a lot of stuff back in the past, but I think this could have been an open cast call to have a lot of comedy in there. It's a bit of a weird one actually. Ben Stiller is another person who, you know, like, he's done some good, the bad, and he's definitely done some what the fucks. And, you know, he's probably on front in this. Is it Burt Ratner? See, Burt Ratner's actually done, like, he did stuff like Rush Hour and stuff, I think. It looks like Ratner. Anyway, so this is a bit of a weird one when it comes to Eddie Murphy, because the film starts and it's Ben Stiller. It's Ben Stiller, Casey Affleck. He's interviewing Michael Pinter. Ben Stiller's job is to look after this massive residential tower block in the middle of Manhattan. Alarms going off in the background. Matthew Broderick is Mr. Fickelson or something like that. And he doesn't want to leave. He's getting divorced. He's living out of a box. Matthew Broderick is absolutely hilarious in this. You don't get enough Matthew Broderick. But the guy's married to Sarah Jessica Parker. He doesn't really need to work. And Ben Stiller and Matthew Broderick work together on the Cable Guys. The Cable Guys directed by Ben Stiller. So there's a little thing. Jack Black should have been in this. Just to throw Jack Black in there. Would have been funny. John Cusack being in there as well. Tilly Owen's in there from Bad Boys with one of the deepest women's voices, and you got Casey Affleck with one of the softest voices for a man. Swap them around. And basically what happens is the FBI come kicking down the door and arrest the man in charge who lives in the penthouse, the guy from MASH. And they sort of like, right, okay, and there's all of like federal indictment and stuff like that, and it looks like everyone's lost their pensions and lost the money. And Ben Stiller's left holding the ball, like everyone's like, what the fuck's going on? And the guy goes under house arrest at the top of the penthouse. So all the people working for him are like, he's up there, he's got our fucking money. And like, it's all like, right, there's got to be a safe somewhere in that room. And like, the idea is like, along with a little help from the FBI and a little espionage, they like plan to take on and take down the tower heist. Right, so halfway through the movie, even though Eddie Murphy has appeared a couple of times in the street shouting and stuff like that, Ben Stiller goes to prison to bail out Eddie Murphy to help them break in. They knew each other briefly as a kid, even though Eddie Murphy's character doesn't remember, and he's basically been shouting out in the street for the last couple of years, giving them grief, and he is the residential convict to help them break into the tower heist. And cue Eddie Murphy coming in, doing a bit of impersonation. But again, he was fucking jacked in this. He's proper jacked. He's like, raw. And it's just weird that Eddie Murphy comes along halfway through it. It's not like it's and Eddie Murphy, you know. There's some really funny bits in it. There's really big stunts. There's a bit with Stephen McQueen's cars hanging out the skyscraper near the end and stuff like that. It's not cheaply made in any form. I think everyone's on there. I think it being a 15, there's a lot of F-bombs and stuff like that, which normally were Ben Stiller. They normally edge towards a 12. I just think it's slightly misfired. I think maybe it's a bit more laugh out loud, and I probably would have cast a few more famous people and made like Expendables, the Tower Heist. But it's a good film. It's an enjoyable watch as a one-time going. So yeah, that's the 10th one of Eddie Murphy. Just a shout out as well, I actually watched Training Day after that when I came to bed. And I just fucking could not help unsee Eddie Murphy as Denzel Washington in Training Day. Because at that era, I just thought that'd be fucking cool. Because Eddie Murphy is totally capable of doing something like that. He's just been very like he knows his market. So yeah, there's 10 movies. So Tower Heist, good, but again it's a bit of a what the fuck, because Eddie Murphy comes in halfway through it, even though he's billed to be like the top fucking star of it and that. Ben Stiller and Eddie Murphy, as I said, could have just done with a little bit more espionage and kids or whatever. Espionage and kids, what was it going there? Could have seen Hangover's just kicked in. Could have done with a few more like celebrities in it. Next up was Life. That was going to get pretty much a bad review. Again, it's not a comedy. These are both by Universal. Again, Eddie Murphy being teamed up with people, Martin Lawrence and him. As I said before, it tells a good story by the end of it, and the film gets progressively funny as they get older and grumpier men. But it was such a quirky one, because it's that looks like, I mean, Bernie Mac and all that on there, and then it's Life, and the idea that the fast talking con artists, I want to say at the bottom, the hysterical comedy gives a whole new meaning to Friends for Life, and it's like, well, it's not totally hysterical. So that ended up in the good, because again, I watched it, it was quite good. We've got Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2 and 3. I've actually got the VHSs. I haven't found the third VHS. Beverly Hills Cop is an amazing movie. The score, the soundtrack, amazing. The second one, even though Tony Scott comes in, it's sort of like a clone of the first one. I don't think it's, you know what I mean, it's just another espionage caper with Axel Foley. The third one, on the other hand, takes more and goes in a completely different direction, and at the sign of the times gives it more action. There's so many mental stunts, especially the stunt on the spider. Yes, it's a massive stunt and all that. At whatever point do you see really Axel Foley going that beyond. The third one as well, there's not really a music cue in that one, and plus Eddie Murphy is proper ripped and stuff like that, and it kind of looks like he's Metro and he's Beverly Hills Cop 3. Where do you want to go with it? So it was a weird one, that one, but again, what a classic collection. They're all in the good. As I would probably put the second one as a bad, and Gordon will be like but yeah, the first 5, so you can't have that. Bowfinger. This was the one before Life, actually. Again, teaming Eddie Murphy up at this point. Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think Eddie Murphy is so underrated in this movie because he plays the twin brothers, Steve Martin, and then just the cast. 30 pence I picked that up for. That's just a crime. Look at them fucking horrible stickers. But I remember seeing that, not knowing what it was, and really enjoyed it. Again, that's packed. Heather Graham, Jamie Kennedy. There are so many like famous people in the background of that movie you don't even realise. Next up, we've got Pluto and Ash. Adventures of Pluto and Ash. That is a total what the fuck movie looking back at it. I mean, it's a PG. It could have been done with being a 15. It's not really catered towards kids. Eddie Murphy at the time was doing more family friendly stuff, coming off the bags of Donkey. But The Man on the Moon, it's sort of just this space case. Espionage today. But I want to put that bad, because like, as much as I probably said it was quite good and it's got some really funny bits, it could have done being a fucking 15 or a 12. It's just this total curveball, that one. Total curveball, and going on that, here we go. We've got Showtime. This is Warner Brothers, so... Was that Warner Brothers? See, they're Warner Brothers, so he's obviously jumped between Universal, because Bowfinger's Universal, and now to Warner Brothers. Normally actors do get picture deals. I think this totally misfires. The simple fact that Eddie Murphy is Axel Foley, but not Axel Foley, but to cast him in that role with Robert De Niro really channels it in. I think it just totally misfires. Could have been done with being a 15. The idea is there, but I don't think Eddie Murphy was used totally correctly in that. I'm going to put that in the bad one, to be honest with you. I know it's got a big epic stunt at the end. There is some cliches. Again, Eddie Murphy team with people. It's Eddie Murphy with Robert De Niro, it's Eddie Murphy with Steve Martin, it's Eddie Murphy with Martin Lawrence, and Eddie Murphy with Ben Stiller. The team up, you know what I mean. Right, next up was the first one, was Trading Places. You talked about originally teaming up, him and Dan Aykroyd. Shame they never really did anything again. Obviously Eddie Murphy was always rumored to be in Ghostbusters. As I say, what a great film. If you can show somebody an 80s film, that's great, and I love how it all sets up the espionage of, what the fuck is with espionage? It's just stuck in my head. Obviously the link to Coming to America. I just think it's absolutely great, and it shows you how much potential Eddie Murphy had. He's absolutely class. Right, last but not least, Dreamgirls. What can I say about that? Eddie Murphy is absolutely phenomenal in it, but the fact that it fucking starts off dead serious, and like, as I say, I was And then you realise, hang on a minute, I'm watching a fucking musical. And don't get us wrong, like Jennifer Hudson and Beyonce, their voices are absolutely unbelievable. But like, is this a musical? And Jamie Foxx, I forgot to mention it when I did the review, and when we did the tournament in Bulgaria, the song Jamie Foxx and Kanye West was out, the Gold Digger song, and I think we were in the strip joint for a week, or just over a week. And you're talking about an airport hangar in Bulgaria, and in this small room, and it had a ceiling on, which made it worse. God, it was so hot, man. And that's the only song that pressed play on every take, especially all the barroom scenes where you didn't need proper just gold digger bouncing. I fucking hated that song. But again, casting right. So yeah, that's been the first 10. I do have 10 in the other room, plenty to dig out. So stuff like Nutty Professor, I Spy, are 2 that nearly ended up in here. They're the last 2 up on that shelf. I've got stuff like Meet Dave in the other room. A lot of my old Eddie Murphys are on VHS, so I'll have to dig out and see exactly what I've got. Haunted Mansion's in there. We'll dig in, we'll see what's going down. Coming to America will definitely be in the next one, and that was nearly the last one as well. But as I say, just working through it. But I'll see you in the outtakes.
Couldn't have wrote that, look. Beverly Hills Cop 2. I would have been looking for that VHS for fucking ages. But I'm not looking for the VHS, am I? I'm looking for fucking Eddie Murphy wherever he's gone. I might actually find some more Eddie Murphy movies down here. I'm not being funny, even just for the outtakes. There's not that many places he could have fucking fell. It's like left or right. Both end up in the same place. $9.99. Fucking hell. But again, how iconic is that front cover? The heat is back on. Even the start of this one, but again, it's just an outtake, and I've found Eddie. He was just chilling. The other one you can get it with banana, but he was really cheap. Not to put a price on Eddie Murphy like, but you know, it's awesome. I don't think there's many outtakes. See, the next one, it's probably going to have to be another John Cusack marathon, because it's mainly looking at the shelf. It's already going in there and going, right, Eddie Murphy films, what can I find? Right, that'll do, that's next. Oh, fucking hell, I forgot I had that. Do you know what I mean? And like, another thing, like, again, going on the hunt for Eddie Murphy movies, again, that's the joy of it, you know, like, loads of people buy Eddie Murphy movies, so like, at the end of the day, you're going to pay full price for an Eddie Murphy movie. I think not. I think bloody not. See, you're going around the charity shops, like, scanning. Like, Holy Goals will be like Holy Goals. Holy Quest will be like Hollow Man. Holy Man in fucking Metro and stuff. Some of Eddie Murphy's obscure ones. I mean, I think I've got Vampire in Brooklyn somewhere. That'll be what the fuck, because it's Wes Craven and Eddie Murphy. But yeah, I think it's going to have to be John Cusack, because John Cusack would take out half that shelf. It's all about getting that shelf down. That's been my mission over lockdown. And I'm like, right, I can't buy anything until that shelf's down, and I'll fucking buy something else. I'm on to Deadwood now. TV series, got TV series going on there. So yeah, I am going to leave a massive outtake here though. If you're watching these in kind of order, you'll know recently that the Arrow, the Nicolas Cage, the John Cusack, Christian Slater have all been filmed before this, and my good friend Matthew James Connor has been appearing in mainly the Nicolas Cage ones, because he's a massive Nicolas Cage fan. And even though I've watched about 40 films, Matty has finally watched Out of Space, the Nicolas Cage film, and this is Matty's review, hanging out the window of Steel Town Music.
Hi, this is a strange little angle. So what's the film called again?
Colour Out of Space.
So I watched Colour Out of Space the other day, which obviously doesn't sound like I watched it, because I've just asked him what it was called, but I don't know about that film, you know. So it looked kind of pretty. The purples were nice and that. But a bit mad, wasn't it? Like, it's kind of not what I thought. I mean, especially, can I put a spoiler in? Just when that kid's in that lass's back, when he's in his mum's back, that was enough for me. I was like, turn this off. It was alright, it was interesting. It was one of them films where I could definitely have turned it off, because I was like, right, I'm done, but I couldn't. And so that says maybe I enjoyed it more than I thought I did. Apart from that, nice score. I like the music in it. And visually it was kind of good. Like, so I watch it. Give it a watch.
So yeah, even though it's Nicolas Cage, it'll be a while before I do another Nicolas Cage, because I think looking up there I've only got like 4 films of Nicolas Cage. I need to do some hunting down to make up my next 10. He'll be the leader because he'll be up to Nicolas Cage Volume 6, but again, I just chuck Matt in there, so Matt's there. As I say, it was only filmed yesterday, so it makes sense. If you want to know what's going on in that clip, I was out filming a music video called In Memory Of, which should be, maybe is out by the time this comes out. And because we had the clown suit out, and Matt's doing the whole promotional thing with Steel Tail Music, if you wipe down the side of the screen, that's the picture we got done. That's the clown. The problem is, I wasn't willing to shave my face just for a day's filming as the clown, so my conditions were to hide my face, so yeah. Yep, get rid of that. Right, I've been Stephen Monkey Mason. This has been Eddie Murphy's The Good, The Bad and The What The Fuck's, an amazing talent. I just want to leave one last thing. We've got that new one on Netflix, which I Am Dolomite, and then hopefully we're going to have Come to America 2, even though it's disappeared from IMDb. Eddie Murphy's had, like, he's reappeared, because he disappeared for ages. I don't think anyone realised that. He was done for a while. He did that film, Mr. Church, which I'm hoping to find and watch. But Eddie Murphy, would he do a new stand-up for Netflix now? Because Rob Schneider did one the other day. Chris Tucker's even reappeared and did the Netflix. How much would Netflix chuck at Eddie Murphy? Even if he just did Delirious, like 2021, you know what I mean, and just took Delirious and Raw, bang, and some just life. All he has to do is go up on stage and talk about his life. Like, and that, you know what I mean, do his impressions and stuff like that and just be golden. So that's me end of this video. Eddie Murphy to return to stand-up. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts invading his videos. And the outtakes. Adventures of Pluto Nash.